In his 2005 non-fiction work, The Great Mortality, An Intimate History of the Black Death, the most devastating plague of all time, American historian John Kelly delves into the catastrophic Great Plague that ravaged Europe and Asia in the 14th century, claiming the lives of approximately 200 million people, equivalent to about one-third of Europe's total population within a span of 5 years. Kelly contends that, even today, the plague stands as the most significant natural disaster in human history. Conforming to the contemporary scientific consensus, Kelly attributes the plague to the Yersinia pestis bacterium, which is also thought to have been responsible for an earlier outbreak in Constantinople during the 6th century. The disease manifested with flu-like symptoms, accompanied by black, swollen skin boils on the armpits and genitals, exuding pus and blood. While the primary infection vector was bites from rats or fleas, the disease could also be transmitted through pneumonic vectors in the air. After its initial outbreak in the 6th century, Yersinia pestis resurfaced in China in the 1330s, affecting fleas-infesting black rats. The plague is believed to have traveled alongside Mongol armies hired to safeguard the Silk Road trading routes between China and the Middle East, subsequently spreading across Europe through rats on ships navigating the Mediterranean Sea. By 1347, the disease had permeated Italy. Given the abundance of eyewitness accounts in Europe, the majority of Kelly's narrative focuses on the impact of the plague in the region. As the disease decimated Italian cities and prompted Pope Clement IV to flee in fear, both scientists and theologians struggled to comprehend the Black Death. Despite prior awareness of the millions of deaths in Asia, many Europeans initially attributed them to God's retribution against pagans and barbarians. However, as the disease swept through Christendom and the European mainland, this belief became untenable. In an attempt to appease a seemingly vengeful God, self-flagellating individuals traversed the countryside, staging passion plays of blood, pain, and redemption for the masses. These dramatic performances often shifted blame for the disease onto European Jews, leading to anti-Semitic pogroms that claimed thousands of lives. Seeking to quell the violent pogroms, Pope Clement IV stressed that Jews were also succumbing to the plague at alarming rates. During this period, neither science nor religion could provide a comprehensive explanation for the deadly scourge. For instance, scientists at the University of Paris attributed the plague to a significant conjunction of 3 planets in Aquarius. A doctor even suggested that instantaneous death occurred when the aerial spirit escaping from the eyes of a sick person struck a healthy individual nearby looking at the sick. The available treatments were limited to crude and ineffective measures like bloodletting and lancing boils. By the middle of 1348, the plague crossed the English Channel, reaching Great Britain and London. A Welsh poet foretold the impending calamity, describing death's arrival as black smoke, a merciless plague that claimed the young without discrimination. Geoffrey the Baker, chronicling English history, wrote of the plague's devastating impact, leaving barely a tenth of the population alive after spreading to Gloucester, Oxford, and London. Though the disease largely subsided by the early 1350s, its aftermath left an indelible mark on the world. John Kelly compares the mindset of European plague survivors to the lost generation of the 1920s, grappling with the immense death and destruction of World War I. He depicts post-plague European and English culture as one of superficial yet frenzied gaiety, marked by debauchery, extravagant excess, and gluttony. Kelly contends that Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales best encapsulates these attitudes, suggesting that the post-plague decades paved the way for a renaissance in Western literature. Beyond its cultural impact, the plague reshaped Europe's economic landscape. Confronted with a severe labor shortage, European industries had to innovate to increase productivity. As a result, peasants experienced higher wages and newfound freedoms, no longer confined to the role of feudal serfs beholden entirely to the English nobility. Despite the terrible suffering inflicted by the plague, it may have spared Europe from an indefinite future of subsistence existence. Publishers Weekly lauded The Great Mortality as an excellent, accessible, and engrossing overview. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.